Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's your boy PJ2 Hot here. I'm back from another video, and today I'm doing a review of Far Cry 5. I bought the gold edition for the PC, and this is actually the first time that I've done a review in a while, and it's also the first Far Cry game that I have actually completed. The one that I almost completed was Far Cry 3, but long story short, I had to delete my save data 3 times in a row because my PS3 at that time was giving me a problem, which I figured out what the problem was, and it was stupid why that even happened in the first place. But after 3 times of starting over, it may have been 4 times, but after that many times starting over, I'm sorry, but like it kind of killed it for me, you know what I mean? And I was loving Far Cry 3. I was absolutely loving that game. I was addicted to it. I was putting so many hours into it. I was loving Far Cry 3. It was one hell of a game, you know what I mean? And I wish I completed it, but I'm glad that Ubisoft is re-releasing the game as Far Cry 3 Classic. And if you have the gold edition of Far Cry 5, I think you get like a week or 2 early, you know what I mean? And Far Cry 3 now for PC is giving me problems. So hopefully when they re-release that, it might fix those little compatibility problems that I'm actually having right now with it. So yeah, so now let's get to the review. So I'm gonna start out with what I liked with the game first, and then I'm gonna get into the negatives later. But yeah. So right now, I have to say I like Hope County. I like the design of Hope County. The map is actually smaller, I think, than past Far Cry maps, but it's still a good size. There's still a lot of activities and a lot of things to explore, and like a lot of things to do, you know, and like all the side activities like fishing, and you can go hunting. Hunting to me, well, I'll get into that later. I'm like you can go hunting. I like the buddy system, which actually is a return. A lot of people think that this is the first time this is the second time I think that Far Cry has had the buddy system. The original buddy system was in Far Cry 2, and I'm glad that they decided to bring it back in Far Cry 5, and they actually improved upon it a lot better. I like that you can command where you want your teammates to go. It's like so like you can have like a strategy when you're doing missions, and when you're trying to do stealth, having other people with you can help you execute that stealth a lot better, and I actually enjoyed that. So like for example, like one of my Fangs for Hire, I could prop she's a sniper. And like I could prop her on top of like a tower or like a watchtower, you know what I mean? And like for me, like I might have a sniper rifle or a bow and arrow, and I might snipe the person like with a silencer, you know, that's on the watchtower. And I'll kill him, and I'll tell her to climb on top of the watchtower and just watch up and watch me, you know, like to make sure and scan the area. So it's like pretty much she's up there, she's propped up, ready to snipe. So I'll go through the mission trying to stealth, but if I get caught, she got my back, you know. Then she'll start sniping and just sniping all the like the enemies left and right, you know what I mean. And then I have my second Fangs for Hire. He would be like my bodyguard, you know what I mean. He'd be right behind me, helping me shoot if I get caught, you know what I mean. And then you could tell him to knock out enemies in stealth as well. Now, that to me is my favorite part. I like being able to do things stealthy, you know what I mean. I like having a choice of how I like to go at a mission, you know what I mean? Like, okay, we can go in loud or we can go in stealthy, you know what I mean? I like having that choice to do that, and that to me was my favorite part of the game is the guns for hire. The guns for hire are my favorite part of the game. The Fangs for Hire I actually didn't use that much. You get a bear, you get a dog, and then you get a like a mountain lion or a cougar, whoever likes to call them which. I remember the bear's name is Cheeseburger, and the lion's name is Peaches. I mean, like the mountain lion's name is Peaches. I forgot the dog's name, you know what I mean? But I never used a dog once. I actually have never ever used them. I actually prefer just the regular guns for hire. Well, I have used Peaches a little bit, and Peaches was cool because, you know, like the lion could take down enemies, you know, sneaky and not get caught, and I thought that was actually pretty well done. But as far as Cheeseburger, I never used him as well. He's pretty much like a big tank, you know what I mean? He go in and just maul everybody up. He's a huge tank. And Cheeseburger was actually pretty cool as well. But I actually prefer the actual guns for hire, you know what I mean? So I thought it was pretty good, pretty well done. I actually glad like what Ubisoft did with that. Like the story itself is entertaining enough to see all the way through. I like the main villain. He was pretty cool. I like the his family. You know what I mean? You have 3 regions, and you have to take over each region. You know what I mean? So you go to the first region, like for example, like Jacob C's region, and then you take that down, and you take down outposts. You do all the missions, and then you eventually level up as you're in there, and then when you reach the 3 levels, you have a boss fight, and you have to go fight Jacob C. The same thing when you go to Face region, you got to do the same thing for her, and so forth. And that was actually pretty well done. I'm not gonna talk too much about that because I don't want to spoil anything. You know what I mean? So I'll keep it there. But it's actually pretty cool. So the story is actually pretty interesting. The whole concept of this cult, this religious cult taking over Hope County was actually really it's a great concept. I like the concept, and to me it was done pretty good. Not as good as I hoped, but it's good. It's a positive. You know what I mean? It's mostly a positive. Now, like there's negatives to it, but like I said, I'll get into that after I'm done with the positives. So like to me, like that was actually pretty well. The map creator is actually really detailed. Like it takes some time to get used to, especially on the PC. The PC version is more of like a program more than actually a feature in the game. But it's actually got like the possibilities are literally endless in that map creator, and if you're really good at making video games as well, I think you would definitely love that map creator. I think that I've heard if you get good with the Unity engine, then you're definitely going to enjoy that, and I can see some amazing maps being created in that game. Some highly detailed maps are definitely going to be created. I've actually already played on one that was actually really well done. Like a person made it. I thought that was made by Ubisoft themselves. I'm like, yo, this is like an official Ubisoft created map. Like they did a good job with it. Like, yeah. So that map creator is the best that it's ever been. It's the best map creator that Far Cry has ever had. It's done exceptionally well. You can make multiplayer maps. You can make single player missions or co-op missions. It's all up to you, and I'm definitely going to be playing around with that for years to come. And that's one that, and like, oh man, it's just good job Ubisoft on that. So I definitely like that. The multiplayer, the team deathmatch, I've already got gameplay on my channel of that, and it's done exceptionally well. Like I think it's real fun. It's definitely something that I can actually come back and play from time to time. Not on a daily basis, but it's definitely fun enough for you to come back every time, like every once in a while and play. It's definitely worth that. It's actually pretty fun. So yeah, so good job on the multiplayer Ubisoft and everything. I talked about Hope County. I talked about the stories pretty well. The guns, it's the same as all Far Cry games. The guns, it's not much. I mean, the gunplay, it's Far Cry. You know what I mean? It's not really much I can really say on that. The gunplay is pretty much all the same. You know, you can add skins to your to your guns. You buy attachments. You know, it's the same as it's always been. Pretty much, the gun system is the same. So yeah, there's plenty of activities to do. It's a lot to do in the game. The map is the map is good. Smaller than most Far Cry maps, but it's good. But now let's get to the negatives of this game. And the negatives I have to say is I did not like the ending of the game. The story was interesting, but the ending was also very lackluster. And I mean, like it's like lackluster, and it doesn't leave you satisfied. I'm not going to spoil about what happens, but there's multiple endings in the game, and each one really isn't satisfying. I'll just tell you that. I mean, like people say, okay, never mind, I ain't gonna get too deep into that. I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's multiple endings, and neither of them are really satisfying, and that's all that I'm gonna say. And that right there, I have to take some points off because of that. I do. Like the story was enjoyable all the way up, but when you get to that climax, like the ending, that's where Ubisoft, what the hell happened right there? I mean, the story was good, but that right there, come on now. But yeah, so like anyways though, that's what that goes. I mean, the also some problems with the guns for hire. While I love the guns for hire system, there's some problems with it that need to be fixed, and I definitely would say when I'm trying to stealth some missions, and I tried to tell this dude to knock out the enemy. He doesn't. He runs to the enemy, then he goes in front, and then he starts walking around circles around him, and then he gets caught, and then when he gets caught, I'm exposed, and then the whole thing. Like I don't know. It didn't happen all the time, and the majority of the time, I have to say, it did work for the most part, but there was still a lot of times as well that it didn't work. They run in front. I'm like, yo, just knock them out. All you gotta do is walk behind them and hit him in the head with the gun, and then you're done. But you gotta go in front of them, and then the person notices you, and then you get caught, and then they start shooting, and I'm caught, and then it's like, come on, fix that, Ubisoft, fix that. All right, you know what I mean? It's just, I love the system, and like, I love it, but that part right there, that's the stealthy part, I'm talking about when you're trying to be stealthy with someone like who actually uses a gun, a loud gun, a machine gun. Now, if you're trying to be like as far as the sniper and the girl with the bow and arrow, they did it perfectly well. You could be stealthy with them, but when it comes to like it's the average gun for hires that you get, like the guys that you can just hire off the street, you can't be stealthy with them. I mean, because they'll run right in front of the enemy and get you caught. All right, but so like that bothered me. I ain't gonna say I'm gonna take off a lot of points from that. I might take off half a point, but it was still, the system is still like the system. I love the gun for hire system, but that I'm talking about the average gun for hires, not the special gun for hires, but the average ones. You know what I mean? That kind of bothered me. The special gun for hires, they're fine. But them average ones that you pick up off the side of the street, I don't know. I don't know. I can't mess with it. You know what I mean? But so yeah, they all have special abilities too. The guns for hire. That's actually pretty cool too. The hunt in this game is not as fun as it was in Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4. But I didn't like Far Cry 4. But Far Cry 3, I'm gonna say Far Cry 3. Far Cry 3, there's actually an animation where you would stick a knife into the animal and slice it open and take out its guts, when you're hunting. You know what I mean? In Far Cry 5, you just shoot him, you walk up to him, you press square, and then magically like a cut on his stomach will magically appear as if you had just like sliced open his guts. You know what I mean? And I thought that there's no animation of him doing it, and it's just like I don't know. Did that really hurt it for me? I'm like, yo, I liked when you actually had to cut the animals open and get and get what you needed from them. It felt like, yes, I'm hunting and I'm getting the utilities that I need to craft new items. You know what I mean? And they don't let you do that. You know what I mean? I don't like that. It might be a nitpick for some, but to me, detail is everything. You know what I mean? I like to have that attention to detail to everything. I want it to feel like I'm actually hunting and that I have to cut them open to get what I want. You know what I mean? It's crazy, but yeah, the hunting to me is just not as fun in this guy. Like I really didn't care for it. I loved it in Far Cry 3. I didn't care for it in Far Cry 5. You know what I mean? And Far Cry 4 did it better to me than this game did too. And in fact, the animals in this game are very lackluster because it's in America. So there's not a wide variety like it is in large tropical islands with tigers and leopards. Leopards, bears and buffalo and just so many other type of animals, crocodiles and monkeys. You know what I mean? It's just like this. It's the least amount of animals that's been in the Far Cry game, and it's not a problem. It's not a big issue, but like the setting to me, like the setting, Hope County makes up for it. The setting and everything, but yeah, I that's some things I think they should have fixed as well. And it also felt repetitive at times. Like it got really repetitive. And then the when you are doing the regions and the boss fights, you have 3 encounters with the actual boss before you actually fight the boss. And it gets kind of tiring having to go through like, oh, okay, like why? And you think logically, why won't you just kill me now? If I'm such a big problem to you guys, why won't you just kill me now and have it done with? You just keep coming back and get me saying, I'm getting tired of you doing this, and then put me back where you got me from. And then I start messing with you again. You're like, okay, let's go back and get him. I'm gonna tell him, like, just kill me. I mean, story, like, realistically, that makes more sense, right? But okay, but yeah, it gets really repetitive a little bit. Like the first region, it's fine. The second region, you're like, okay, yeah, I'm doing the same thing. And then by the third region, you're like, come on, I don't feel like going through all these outposts again. I don't feel like going through. I don't like having to find some extra side missions to do just so I can get that level thing to go up so I can actually have the boss fight. You know what I mean? Like it just gets kind of repetitive. I mean, the game was still enjoyable, but you just like, come on, I'm getting tired of doing this, man. Come on now. You know what I mean? Like, and see, it just like you just get tired of doing it. And like the game was enjoyable, but it definitely has its problems. It's nowhere near the best game of this year. It's not gonna be the best game of this year. It's just no way. I mean, you got God of War and you got Spider-Man. Probably by the end of this year, man. I don't know. I mean, I bought the gold edition. I definitely am looking forward to the DLC, the zombie DLC and the Mars DLC. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Do not get me wrong. You know what I mean? Your boy is definitely looking forward to that. And so I'm definitely playing the DLC. Obviously, I bought the gold edition, so of course I got to play to get my money's worth. But I'm definitely going to put some hours into this game, especially because of that map creator and the multiplayer. You know what I mean? That map creator, though, that's definitely going to get me into, to keep playing this game. Don't get me wrong, I love this game. I like the game. I don't love it. I like it. It's definitely fun, but it definitely has its issues, especially that lackluster ending of the story. The repetitive gameplay that it definitely does get. The problems with some of the guns for hire, especially it's almost impossible to go stealth for some of those guys. But overall, the system is still fun to use. So, I'm trying to think of a score to give it. Because, see, I'm trying to think is there any more negatives before I end the video? I don't think they really are they? Any more negatives? No, I don't think they really are. Besides, some of the voice acting and it's kind of iffy, especially when a person, I'm talking to this girl here, and she's saying, I need your help. My friends went to go get this, for example, this animal, and I haven't seen them in a while. They're probably dead. But she just says it like with no emotion. They're probably dead. My friends went to go hunt for this grizzly bear. It's been 2 days. They haven't came back. They're probably dead. Go kill the grizzly bear. So it's like I'm like no emotion, like no emotion, like you didn't even care. You know what I mean? But besides that, man, I have to say I have to give Far Cry 5 probably just I gotta go for probably about like an 8 out of 10, maybe like an 8.5 probably. Okay, matter of fact, I'm gonna say this, a 8 out of 10. I'm just gonna say like an 8 out of 10. It's a good game. It's a good game. It's not amazing. It has its problems. It's a good game. Would I say it was worth spending $60 for? I guess so. If you're into the map creator and really like the customization in that map creator and creating all this unlimited amount of content, then yes, it's definitely worth the $60. That map creator right there, in my opinion, makes it worth the $60. That map creator, man, like that is $60 for me. You know what I mean? But but if you don't care about that or any of the DLC and all you care about is this single player campaign, then no, I definitely would probably wait for a price drop, probably to about $40. And then you probably pick it up then, you know what I mean, just to be real with you. But yeah, it's 8, yeah, but like an 8 out of 10. I mean, I think an 8 out of 10. I think it's a good game, but it definitely has its issues. That lackluster engine definitely did a lot for me right there. But yeah, so anyways though, I'll just say this is my review for Far Cry 5 for the PC. This your boy PJ Too Hot. Peace.